the concept of weight transfer can be elusive. This is because amateurs are told they need to shift their weight, and then they're told that the weight transfer is front foot, rear foot, front foot, and then they attempt to stand over the top of those feet during their swing. But the true concept of weight transfer is slightly different. The secret isn't getting over the top of that foot. That's not where the weight and pressure comes from. The weight and pressure actually comes from the prevention of the weight getting over the top of that foot. That might sound complicated, but let's take a look at Rory and I will explain. Let's pretend Rory is standing on a pressure plate. As he begins his takeaway, his momentum is going to lead him backwards. But the weight is mostly centered at this point. As he rotates, his mass moves backwards. The rear leg posts in order to keep the mass mostly centered so he can rotate. We like to call this weight transfer to the rear foot, but it is more akin to putting your arm on a wall so you don't fall down. And just like the follow-through, the weight ends up going up, which then allows him to sit down into it and move the weight forward, where the front leg posts and moves his mass upward again. This keeps all of his weight and his swing inside of the swing box. The combination of preventing the weight transfer and keeping fairly stiff back posture allows him to torque and make this swing. Now let's draw some lines and explain a little deeper. As soon as he starts moving backwards, there's a resistance on that rear foot. And his weight does move to his rear side, but the rear foot is actively preventing it, causing a posture as if he's holding a heavy weight outside of the zone. As he reaches the top of his backswing, he's going to center his weight, and that pressure on the rear foot is going to move it back towards the front. With a down and forward motion, his front leg will pick up, post, and move the weight up, always keeping the weight between his outsoles of his feet. And keep in mind that the orange line for his posture has allowed him to do all of this because he is twisting, not swaying, throughout the swing. The key components that assist in the swing is the straight back posture and the knee flex. The straight back posture makes him twist, not sway. And the knee flex, the left knee coming forward and the right knee going back, open his hips inside of his outsoles, the green lines. Because Rory's swing is so big, he needs to use an exaggerated sit-down motion to allow his hands to get to the furthest point to the ball so that his arms don't get thrown outside. This makes his weight transfer more difficult, but also more powerful because he's able to generate more club head speed. Accomplishing this as an amateur is easier if you shorten your swing to the down the line position. So in essence, the magic of the weight transfer is actually us preventing weight transfer. If Rory was standing on a pressure pad, it would look as if his weight was truly standing on his right foot. I would wager it would actually show him weighing more at some point than he actually weighs because he's countering the movement of mass. The takeaway from this is that we don't have to try to force our weight from foot to foot. We do, however, have to prevent it from getting outside of our feet. For amateurs, if we can shorten our swing to a down-the-line position, we won't need to sit as much into the swing. We can simply stop the transition backwards and then drive back forward. It will help with our timing issues, and for most of us, it will probably increase power and distance. To find out if you're shifting your weight correctly, put an alignment stick in the ground, touching your hips at address. See if you sway into them. If your swing makes you sway into the sticks, your posture is probably incorrect for the turn. To fix this, try to start with a flatter back at address, almost as if your rear end is sticking out, keeping it perfectly flat. If you stop at the top of your backswing, you should not be able to pick up your front foot without falling back onto it. I hope this video helps. So get out there, press, and send.